Well, one of the reasons I retired early is because I have far more interests than I even have time for. My most favorite thing to do is off-road exploring out in the backcountry. Well, ham radio is my oldest hobby. I've been in ham radio since I was about 13 years old. And I'm looking forward to meeting with Alyssa.
Hi.
Hi, Frank. I'm Alyssa.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Thanks
meet
for
you
coming.
too.
Come
No
on in.
problem.
Meeting with diabetes educators on a regular basis is a very useful thing to do because they understand what you're going through. They understand how the foods you eat affect what it is you're doing. They can dramatically help your life and reduce the complications that you have from this disease.
Well, I'm glad it sounds like you're trying to include fruits and vegetables, which is great. The canned green beans have this sodium in them, 400 milligrams of sodium, and there's 3.5 servings in here. That's about as much sodium, almost as much as you need in a day if you ate the whole can.
It wouldn't be beyond me to eat that entire can with salt on top.
Okay. Oh, really? Because you have diabetes, you have a higher risk of heart disease. So you want to watch your salt and your fat intake. So keeping your blood pressure normal is number one. And you may need medication, but you'll need the least amount of medication if you also watch your sodium intake.
Okay.
These crackers, you said you eat a lot of these crackers.
I like them.
You like
a lot
them?
of times, particularly, happy hour before dinner, I'll have some crackers and maybe some cheese and pepperoni or something like that as a general snack.
Okay. Well, I like that you're combining carbs with protein and fat. You're getting the balance. You're not just eating the crackers, so that will help your blood sugar.
I do check my blood sugar. What I do is I'll go for weeks without checking it, and then I'll spend a day where I check it 6 or 8 times just to understand what the trends are, how I reacted to the foods I eat, and that sort of thing.
You know, I'd much rather hear you say that than the person who says, I check it every morning, write it in my logbook, and hand it to my doctor, but I don't really use the numbers. If you're gonna prick your finger, you wanna make it worth it and learn something. The symptoms of low and high blood sugar can overlap. So that's why testing your sugars is so important. You don't wanna treat what you think is a low blood sugar and your sugar is actually high and your sugar just gets higher. So it's important, again, to always self-monitor, test your blood sugars and see where they're really at. So Frank, are you keeping up with your doctor's visits? Are you checking yourself for complications? Do you check your feet?
Not only do I check them fairly often, but my doctor checks them every year.
The best way to reduce diabetes-related complications is also to keep the sugars in good control. It all comes back to the sugars, the blood pressure, and the cholesterol. And when those are staying in normal parameters, most of the time, you have the best chance of reducing or preventing diabetes complications.
Really appreciate you coming.
All right, you're welcome.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.